gotten back into the flow as smoothly as you thought you would the last two games overall?
Uh, I mean, yes and no. I've obviously finished both games strong, but over the course of the entire game, I haven't been as in sync as I want to. So it's obviously good things to look forward to. Hopefully next series.
Getting a few practice days and back in a rhythm, does that help a lot, before you start the next round?
No, for sure. Is get some rest. When you go from missing, like I've always said, or said the last couple of days, when you go from missing 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks to playing significant minutes in 48 hours, especially with what the day in between was like, it kind of shocks your body. So you gotta take advantage of these 3 days we have off, get refreshing and rejuvenated mentally and physically, and just be ready to play.
You watched the game last night?
Honestly, I missed the first half, which was the most entertaining part. But I watched the end of it and went back and watched a little bit of the first half. But OKC is an explosive team, and they are clicking right now and found a good recipe. Obviously, to beat a tough Spurs team, that says a lot about how they're playing right now.
Were you surprised, though, with the way the series played out?
Nothing in the playoffs can surprise you. They're two capable teams that had a dogfight, so doesn't. I was going into the series. I wouldn't have been surprised who's going to win either way. It was just after game one, it kind of is pretty impressive how they OKC turned it around and put that behind them, which is a lesson for playoffs as a whole. Each game is its own, takes its own identity, so you got to kind of just figure it out.
Steph, what did you learn about OKC in the 3 games you played against them this year? I mean, you guys obviously won all 3, but the one there was particularly close. And what did you sort of maybe pick up?
You know how they run off of Westbrook and Durant, and their aggressiveness, their talent. The other guys play their roles really well. They're pretty physical. They're big. They can rebound the ball. We got out rebounded by like 30, I think, in OKC when we won. Which is I've never heard of a team doing that. So it's the last 3 years against them. It's been pretty entertaining games. Most of the time going down to the wire. So you can only imagine what it'll be like in the playoffs. Every possession is going to be key. Defensively, we got to stay focused. Just try to make them take tough shots, even though they're probably going to make some tough ones. Rebound the ball and don't turn it over. That's our recipe against them. And we have to go out and execute that.
Is that the biggest difference, their rebounding and size, maybe compared to past OKC teams? I mean, obviously they've had Durant, Westbrook for a while, but they've got some different parts around them now.
I think that's always kind of been a part of them. They always had Serge, and used to have Perkins, used to have other big guys that could, seal the paint. But Durant, Westbrook have probably gotten better. The role guys that they've put in there, coming off the bench with Dion and Cantor, obviously. That was obviously a huge help. So we know who they are, and you kind of just have to understand the game plan. And as the playoffs go on, even more so, that becomes key to winning, is just understanding the game plan and the discipline of that, and having focus on that.
Is Westbrook a guy you like to watch on an off day when you're just watching games?
I watch the whole league.
Uh-huh.
He's obviously explosive and does some crazy stuff that I personally can't do. So.
You covered him some. With someone with that explosiveness, what are the keys to try to limit that or prevent him, from doing what he wants to do?
You can never let your guard down. You gotta try to think one step ahead, get back in transition. I let him, get ahead of steam, and try to, as much as you can, make him play in the crowd. Just one guy is not going to be able to stop him. It takes everybody on the court and everybody being on the string.
Do you feel he plays angry?
Insinuate he doesn't smile a lot?
Well, he does have like he's always obviously has a chip on his shoulder, but he just plays like angry. Has that glare on his face.
He plays like every game means something to him. He plays like it matters. That's what the great ones do. That's how I mean, demeanors might be different, but at the end of the day, when you're on the court, you have that kind of inner dog in you that that 48 minutes is the most important 48 minutes that you have in front of you. So that's how I see him play. Winning is important to him.
People often say you're fun to watch. Do you find Westbrook fun to watch? I mean, if you had to pick a couple players in the league that you enjoy watching just as a fan, is he up there?
I would say, yeah, probably. Like I said, his explosiveness, his athleticism, and every night at the point guard position, you don't really see that kind of athleticism every night, so you gotta appreciate it.
Do you like? Go ahead, Jamie.
When you said rejuvenating mentally, how do you do that? These next few days when you've had wild week with MVP and all that stuff.
Like yesterday, we had an off day, so I watched the second half of the game, but you try not to think about basketball too much. When we're coming here for practice, we focus on our preparation, obviously getting shots up, keeping our skill set honed in, understand, again, the game plan of how we're going to, as that develops over the next 3 days, of how we're going to try to beat OKC 4 times. But in the next 3 days, when you're outside the gym, for me, I just try to relax, take my mind off the game, because this is, you don't know how hard this is to try to, the focus that you do need to win, 4 games against OKC and hopefully 4 more after that. So it's a long, 3-4 week grind, and if you're not all the way there mentally, it'll show.
Do you like or prefer to face a team that likes to push the pace and up-tempo like you guys, opposed to the Spurs, who likes to slow things down?
I mean, we're very versatile, so we know how we want to play. We know that is the pace that we like to get stops and let that fuel our offense. If the other team likes to do the same, you have to be able to control your emotions in that kind of environment, because it can really get out of control. Quick shots, turnovers, fast breaks, all that kind of stuff. If you don't, execute in those possessions and those kind of situations, then it can work against you. So it is a more fun way to play, because it's more intense, I think, and more high-octane offense. But we have to be able to control the defensive side of the ball so that we allow our offense to take over.
Hey, when you're scrimmaging, who does the best job of mimicking Russell Westbrook?
Actually, we don't really do too much of that. I know Jeff Van Gundy was commenting on Chris DeMarco, our assistant coach, his lateral quickness. His downhill north-south quickness is pretty good, so he's probably the closest one. But we don't really do too much scout team stuff. It's kind of just more the mental preparation.
Steph, how well have you gotten to know Kevin just from Team USA stuff? What kind of guy he is?
He's a great dude off the court. I mean, the time I spent with him in Team USA, was that 2 years ago before he dropped off the team. He's always been cool to me, and a real down to earth kind of guy. So yeah, I would vouch for him.
Do you still plan on doing Team USA this summer? Speaking of that, do you still plan on doing Team USA this summer?
Right now, it's about the playoffs. I want to play, and obviously there's a decision from Team USA and them picking the team. Hopefully, we'll see how that plays out. But right now, 8 more wins, and then we can worry about that.
Steve, you were saying that your knee issue is probably on the road to being behind you as you go into this next round. Do you feel that way? Or close to it?
Hopefully be close to 100% by the time we get suited up on Monday. That's the goal. If I take care of these next 3 days, it's not there right now, but if we had a game tonight, I'd be fine.
Do you mind those comments about the MVP, good, bad, odd? Do you mind those words?
I've gotten really good at ignoring people, so that is the theme of the last 2 years. So I'm all right.
Last year, Draymond asked you for a gift, MVP gift. Are you getting the team something?
I'll get him something. He put me on the spot last year, and I came through though. So I definitely want to get the guy something to show my appreciation, but that'll work itself out.
Did he ever congratulate you? He was promoting.
Oh yeah. He said he was waiting for the unanimous thing. He was waiting for the unanimous decision. So he made up, yeah. Otherwise, it would have just been another day.
By the way, was Riley pointing out anybody in particular?
I couldn't tell actually, because I was talking. I wasn't really
Have you seen that?
Where did she learn that
paying
from?
attention. All of our family, they teach her all sorts of bad habits. No, bad habits. No. I don't know. I was focused on my speech, and I think I was talking about my family at some point, and then she was letting somebody in the front row know she was there.
You joke around with the commissioner
He
about
finally
the.
shook your hand.
Yeah, we made up after the game. But I had my hands kind of in my pocket, and he had the mic, and there was like a bad miscommunication. He didn't know what to do with the mic, and then I took my first step. I showed my hand and tried to do like a little dance.
Play it off.
That was like the longest adjustment to getting hung up that I think I've seen.
Yeah, it was a long walk from where I was to the table where the trophy was, so it just happens to be like that.
Have you ever drunk the Leandro green juice that he drinks twice a day?
No,
You've seen him drink it? Has
I've
he offered
seen
it
him.
to you?
He has not. I've smelt it before.
Smells bad.
Not a big fan. I'll leave that
Has
to him.
miraculous healing powers, though, right?
I'll just stick with the power of prayer.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Steph.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steph.
Steph, I'm guessing.